So if you guys know anything about anything, everything has to do with who you know. And the more I've been doing things lately, the more I've understood that concept even greater. And this is going to be hopefully, I don't want to get overzealous and say something crazy or irrational, but I think this is going to be the next step for me to do just that. Now, while I was in Florida this last time, I went and hung out with S1 Built, great Honda-based company, but they work on lots of other things. I went and hung out with LHT Performance. They specialize in S2000 specifically, but they work on lots of other things. They got their Corvette stuff they like to do. And that's something that I've learned, is that everybody has their main thing. And granted, for me, I've been known for the Hondas because it's always what I've been into, it's what I've been able to afford. But things change. Not that my budget has changed. Believe me, I'm not rich by any means. I got this thing for, $2,000. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hide it. And we'll talk more on that in a second. But I think this is gonna be a great way for me to get out there and to meet new people, because I've been hanging around a lot more drift oriented things. I enjoy going to my local drift and drag shows to watch the drifting. My girlfriend and I have attended a couple of Formula Drift events, and she's way more hooked on it than I am in the competition sense. Matter of fact is, we're both just heavily into it. And I've been wanting an E36 for a couple years now. I didn't even realize how long I've been wanting it until my buddy Isaiah mentioned it. I sent him a picture when I bought it because he's into Euro cars. And I was like, yo, I picked up my first Euro car. He's like, man, I remember you saying 2 years ago you wanted an E36, and now here you are. It's really cool to see, things come to fruition. You talk about it, and, in due time, it pops up. And, I am just extremely thankful. Granted, this thing's a bit of a nugget, but that's okay, because that's all going to change. Granted, not necessarily today, because this video is more of an introductory. Maybe not tomorrow, because I don't have the money for it. But we do have something planned for the very next video series on this car. It's probably going to be a 1, maybe 2-part video. Basically what we're doing is, this car has some problems really quick, so I'm going to go over that, and we're going to show you what $2,000 gets you in this day and age. Now, granted, I was a little bit more fortunate because I bought this from a friend, so I got a little bit better of a deal. Now, $2,000 normally in this, post-Bovid era isn't a whole lot of money to play with when you're talking about getting a car. And so with this car, it's no exception. It runs, it drives, it shifts. Granted, not with, my arm, but it shifts. On its own, unfortunately, it is an automatic. But it's got, it's got its dings, it's got its dents. It could use a polish. I gave it a wash in the start of the video, but I used, hose water, and part of it was in the sun, so now we got some water stains, or hard water stains I gotta clean up. And it's got a busted door handle, it's got the seats that are torn up, it's got, a missing glove box, it's got no door cards on it right now. But all of that, isn't really important, because, it runs and drives, like I said. So that's kind of what you get with $2,000. But this thing is kind of special because, from what I understand, it is an M-Technic package. Now, I don't fully understand what that is, because again, I'm brand new to BMWs. But, to my understanding, it's similar to like a Nismo spec Nissan, which is pretty cool. It's got a different front bumper. It's got a different, I think, rear bumper, at least a rear lip piece. The wheels on it, not particularly my taste, but I've got somebody that already wants to buy them, and I'm just going to throw whatever on here because, this is going to be my seat time car. I intend to just learn in it, and Lord, I joke about it since I bought it. I just plan on throwing it into a wall. Hopefully that's not literally the case, but that's kind of what the idea is I don't want it too clean, but I don't want it too beat up. And right now, I think it's somewhere in the happy medium, to where you give it a good wash, it's a solid 10-footer. It really doesn't look half bad. And then, it's just clean enough to where I don't mind. It's not embarrassing to drive it. It's just beat up enough to where I'm not so worried about it getting, things done to it, like throwing rocks at it and doors banging things. I don't know. So now that you kind of know the reason why I bought it, again, for fun, networking, meet people, you know, potential business stuff, you know, it's just more of a means for me to get out there. And I think it's going to be really fun to build this car up into something. I don't know what, but something. I just know it's going to go sideways and we're going to have some fun with it. But now the first order of operations is that automatic gearbox. That's not a winner in my case. This is the second automatic I've ever bought in my life. My first one was my very first car, which is a 98 Camaro V6 auto. You know, it's been a minute. I'll be 28 this year. This was 11 years ago. Sheesh. So here's the solution to that automatic problem we got. Now, if you don't know what this is, if you're not very familiar with, you know, different types of transmissions outside the Honda world, you know, I'm learning them as well. So let me school you a little bit on what I know. It's a ZF tranny. There you go. That's all I know. But anyway, this is the transmission I'm going to be using. Now, I do have all the other components already. I've got the drive shaft. I've got, you know, the shifter. I've got the trans mounts. I've got the transmission brace. You know, I got a clutch pedal. I got, you know, a clutch kit. You know, I got all the little bits. But that's what's nice about these cars is they're so easy to manual swap. Granted, not that a Honda is much harder, if any at all. But this thing, you basically undo the automatic components, you bolt up the manual components. There's a chip in the ECU, but you just pull it out. It looks like an old school chip that you would tune with, and that's it. Then you clear the check engine light, and the car's happy. You just go about your merry way. So the reason I chose the ZF tranny though, is I did a lot of reading, especially before I bought the car and when I bought the car, and just talking around. Everybody says the ZF is the way to go. This is a transmission that's commonly used in other swaps. For example, you know, a case swap, rear wheel drive platform. A lot of guys will use an adapter plate to run the ZF transmission. It's a very popular tranny, and because of that, it's kind of hard to get. So I did find a local shop that happens to be, you know, in touch with the drift and race community out here. So, you know, when you're doing stuff, things get hurt. And when things get hurt, these guys are the ones that rebuild them or refurbish and resell. So this one happens to be a refurbished ZF. You know, it's got, to my understanding, a new first gear through third gear synchros, I think, and then the new detent springs in there. So it should be good to go. And if you don't know what the detent springs do, similar to the Hondas and these ones, this tranny specifically, they're known to kind of fail over time or, you know, wear out. And then the shifter leans all funny and it's kind of hard to find the gears at times. And I just, you know, I was going to do them regardless while the transmission is out because it's not like a Honda. You can't do it in the car. The transmission has to be out of the car. So thankfully, again, this is all done. But I mean, that's kind of pretty much the gist of it. I mean, I don't know. Let's look under the hood. All right, so if you guys don't know anything about BMWs, again, I'm in the same boat. I'm learning as I go, and from what I've read while I've been doing this stuff for the last couple weeks. Now, this is the first time today that I even drove the car. Well, technically last night, but today was the first time I really drove the car because I bought it again from my buddy. He lives right up the street from me. And so far it did great. So I know the motor runs great. I haven't changed the oil yet, which I definitely need to. Just so I can get a look at it, because I know some of these older BMWs have rod bearing issues here and there, and you know, I don't think these engines are necessarily prone to it, because this one happens to be the M52, which is the, you know, better one of, I think, the 2 or 3 back in the day. So this is a 96 328 IS with the M52. It's a straight 6, you know, it doesn't make crazy power. I don't know what the torque is, but I know the power is around 190 horsepower. But, you know, it's pretty solid nonetheless. I mean, hydraulic lifters, kind of like my Miata was. So, you know, when you start ticking, it's because the oil is getting a little thin. You know, they're getting a little clogged up, whatever. And basic things like that. There's not a whole lot to them. And from what I've understood, and after talking with a lot of people, the main Achilles heels of these engines happens to be the cooling system, whereas the water pump, for example, has a plastic propeller instead of a steel or, you know, aluminum. So they make aluminum ones. Same with the thermostat housing. The thermostat housing happens to be plastic. You change it for an aluminum one, and you're cooking with peanut oil. So other than that, I gave the car, you know, a quick detail this morning. The engine bay is looking pretty solid, but I can see a lot of things in here that I need to address. Now, they do sell a whole cooling system overhaul through FCP Europe. They have an OEM one, and they have an aftermarket upgraded one. I'll probably end up saving up and doing the aftermarket upgrade, because then you get an aluminum radiator instead of the factory style one. Not that this is bad, but again, we plan on drifting, so we need the cooling efficiency. This does have everything. I believe the air conditioner works. I didn't try it today because the exhaust is non-existent. I do have to build an exhaust for this. I just don't have enough material right now to build it, because if it's like a factory dual that comes all the way back, because there's 2 headers on these things, which is really weird. It's a 6-cylinder with 2 3-piece header, whatever things. But yeah, so, you know, I'm going to go through, change out the Vanos, which Vanos is like German VTEC. There's like a line that comes down here for the housing that looks like it's leaking a bit. You know, the valve cover gasket looks like it's leaking a bit. You know, the power steering lines on these things are basically, they come out the factory leaking, so try and change that up. I plan on building like a little intake, and it looks like my intake thing here for the plastic is kind of coming off, so trying to adjust that while on camera. Kind of, okay, we're kind of good. But I don't know how to operate cruise control, so I'm honestly not sure if it works. It does need a mass airflow sensor though, because this one is wigging out, so it idles all rough and sounds like a cammed loper until I unhook it, and then it runs fine. These things just run rich without the MAF hooked up, so that's kind of nice. And you know, everything else in here is there. I don't know what else to say. We got it, it runs, it's solid. But yeah, overall, I'm incredibly stoked on the car. Again, it has its imperfections. Granted, you know, front bumper held together with lots of screws. You know, our panels are not perfectly lined up. We got a missing door handle here. We're missing, well, I guess a trim because the door handle works. We have one door card, which is on the floor over there because the clips are broken, which I have new ones, but that's for that side. No door card over here. You know, the slush box, which is going to be getting changed out next video. You know, we need an armrest. The seat, you know, this doesn't really matter. This is going in the dumpster once I find a bucket seat suitable enough to put in here. The interior back here, I plan on keeping for now. And even when I build a roll bar, I kind of just like the look of having interior with a roll bar, and that'll give me practice on building a detachable roll bar with, you know, legs that come off. There is a harness that is in the engine bay that is damaged for whatever reason. I don't know what it's affecting, if anything at all, but I don't trust it. So thankfully, this comes with a whole spare harness. And then, you know, these are jumper cables because the battery is shot. So I'm going to be changing that out once this video is over. I just hooked myself. Look at that. Look at that. But yeah, no, otherwise, I'm honestly super stoked on this car. I mean, I just want to thank my buddy Mike and his girlfriend Emily. They're the ones that hooked me up with the car. They bought it because they have a couple E36s, and Emily's car, you know, they ended up pulling the motor to rebuild it. Turns out that hers was low on compression, and essentially what happened is they bought this because they wanted the motor, but the guy wouldn't just sell the motor to them. They had to buy the whole car. They didn't need anything, and then they ended up deciding to build her engine instead of swapping this one into hers. So the car's just been sitting at their house for months now, and so they gave me a good deal on it. Like I said, I only paid $2,000 for it, so I think I got, you know, $2,000 worth of car just fine, especially in, you know, this day and age. But yeah, that's basically the plans for the car. I'm gonna manual swap it. I'm gonna get a lot of seat time. It definitely needs to be gone over. Again, you know, cooling system upgrades, you know, maintenance, wheels and tires, suspension especially. You know, I'm gonna pull, even if the subframe doesn't need it, I'm gonna drop the subframe, do the reinforcement plates for the bolts, because those are torn to, you know, prone to tearing. Just, you know, I just want to have fun with it. I want to make content with it. I want to help people. I want to learn so that way I can offer it more as services and stuff. Because, you know, at the end of the day, granted, everything's about money. So this car, even though I spent money on it, I'm hoping to make it back, whether it's because I can go to drift events or track days or meets and just stir up work with it, stir up conversation, meet new people, meet new companies, make videos. Videos generate revenue. You know, I'll figure something out. It's all money in one way or the next. And that's okay, because I'm going to be having fun while I'm doing it. You know, it's not really work if you enjoy what you're doing. And that's why I'm very thankful that I get to be able to do this every day now. You know, I have been for the last year, but it's really cool. I'm sorry. I'm just babbling on because I'm excited. I'm going to end this video out here though, guys. I got to squat down to your level. So if you guys did enjoy this video, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. If you're new to the channel, hopefully by now you've considered subscribing. I can't wait to dig into this car with you guys. And you know, if you want to help support the channel, I plan on making some new VRF shirts instead of the SD Fab ones to kick off and to help cover costs for moving shops, because if you guys didn't see the last video, may have found a shop. Well, I did find a shop. I've been working on the paperwork all morning, which has been a nightmare because it's all digital and yeah, just whatever. So yeah, I will be trying to offset some moving costs by making some merch and stuff. But yeah, anyways, guys, do what you love, figure out the rest. Thanks for spending some time out of your day with me, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.